Hi, I'm Jason Andera of Varsity Sports Now on Midcoast Sports Network, and I'm joined by Mike Henriksen of Calling All Sports and Sports Max Radio. He's going to be calling the South Dakota Class A girls basketball game for South Dakota Public Broadcasting. But we talked about that a little bit on the show. We're going to talk now a little bit more about the AA and the B tournaments. Mike, we'll start with AA. Beginning of the year, we all thought about Washington and Mitchell, and maybe it was a closed case. Do you think it's more of an open book now?
I do. I still think those two and Aberdeen are the three. They have really, to me, separated themselves through the year. But Aberdeen, we knew that Don Seiler had an experienced team coming back. They have really played well, though, this year, including that win over Mitchell. Mitchell had been on a roll in the district championship, but I think those are the three teams to beat. However, so many years, as you well know, you take a look at the opening brackets and you can already figure out, oh gosh, I can't wait for that Friday night matchup. And then when you do get to Friday night, you go, oh, I can't wait for that Saturday matchup. And a lot of times you'll see that Saturday matchup, but instead of in the championship game, it's in the third place game. So I think this tournament will be an awful lot of fun.
Especially in AA, that happens
exactly
so often. I mean, we saw it a couple years ago with Brandon Valley kind of coming out of nowhere. Is there a team that could come out of nowhere? Could Lincoln maybe be that team?
You know, Lincoln could be that team. Maybe Roosevelt. You just don't know. It seems like the more that's expected of Roosevelt sometimes, the less they do, and sometimes the less it's expected out of them, the better they do. So they would be one, but I really think I would be stunned if you don't have Washington, Mitchell, Aberdeen in the mix for the state title.
Yeah, I think we agree on that. Let's move to Class B now. I mean, basically after the championship game last year, we kind of just handed Summit maybe even a repeat for this year.
Very much.
They find themselves not even in the tournament. Shows you just how good that region really was. And talk more about that and talk about Warner.
It seems odd that you are even having a girls' B tournament without Summit in it because Mark Amdahl has done just a tremendous job. But the girls from Warner, as we saw in volleyball, listen, they've got a boatload of talent there. They've got great size. They've got, they really did a nice job. They came from behind on Summit, and that just doesn't happen. And so obviously Warner is the team that you take a look at going in. But I do think Sanborn Central Woonsocket, last year they got that experience at the state tournament. They have just about everybody back, maybe everybody, I can't remember exactly. But they got a ton of experience. They have an awful lot of good, solid players. I think they're going to be in the hunt, and especially considering the fact that they're a number 4. I do know you can't have a tournament of some sort without Sully Buttes being in it. That's another one, just the usual suspects. DeSmet has put together a really good year this year. And it will be very interesting to see if Doug Ostis and his crew, that's another team. They've got some good size. They've got some good speed. That's going to be another team. And so I think with Summit not being there, I think that opened things up an awful lot more than what would have happened had Summit been there.
I think you named the suspects in this tournament. We've got a lot of good teams in this Class B. Even Hanson, they've got some experience from last year.
Exactly. And Jim Bridge, I mean, he's only racked up 400-some wins over his career. And that's always the fun thing, is seeing some of these teams where the coaches have been there forever. And that kind of goes back to the AA, too. You're going to see more upsets, quote-unquote upsets there, because of the fact all of those staffs are so familiar with each other because they've played each other so many times. But, yeah, I really think that Class B is going to be a very entertaining tournament this year.
Well, we're getting ready for an exciting weekend to kick off the tournament season. And all of it's going to be on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Good luck on the broadcast this weekend.
Thank you very much, and I always appreciate the time, too. Good to join you.
All right, and that's it for the Web Extra. We'll have more coming up next week.